And I'm going to introduce myself, and then Sudashna will introduce herself. We're not out here to pretend that we're the experts or the best or anything else. We're just saying that what we do, and we're trying to give you guys tools that you may or may not be able to, you may or may not want to use in your own departments. Hopefully, by the end of this, you'll be able to have 5 extra things in your kit of things that you can use with your students that you haven't got before you've walked in here. I'm Barry Phipps. I'm at the Dhirubhai Ambani International School in Mumbai, and I've been at the the Dhirubhai Ambani International School for 2 years, and this is my 3rd year. Before that, I was working in this role in a range of African countries, but I'm certainly enjoying my time at the Ambani School. And I'll pass over to here.
I'm Sudarshana Shukla from the Cathedral and John Connon School. I've been the guidance counselor at the Cathedral and John Connon School since 2002, so it's been a long journey in one institution. And I thought when Barry asked me, I just jumped in right away because we were a full paper application school just 5 years ago. And now we're a completely paperless application submission school. So this idea really excited me, and I didn't hesitate even for a minute, right, to join in. So we're very happy to share. And I think please feel free to step in and ask questions at the end of the session, or if something very pressing, then in the middle of it. Thank you.
Now, when I first went to our office, and I'm going to say our office because I've got one of my colleagues down the back here, Nitika, down here. She also works at the Dhirubhai Ambani International School. And even though Mrs. Ambani lives in a very big house, we don't live in a very big counselling office. Our counselling office is actually really small. And there are 4 of us, not 4 counsellors. We have 3 counsellors and 1 office manager who looks after all of us, but we're all cramped in this one little spot. And when I arrived there, we had a whole lot of all of those college pamphlets and college books and college bits and pieces hanging from the walls in our cupboards and everything else. And it was like, I'm OCD, and if you ever come to my apartment, so if you ever come to Mumbai and you want to come to a nice clean apartment, come to my apartment because it's very, very spotless, and it's very, very Spartan because I get a lot of stress if I have too many things around. And Nitika will be able to attest to the fact that when at the office, I'm always throwing things out, and she knows when I've got nothing to do because more things disappear. And so the idea of the paperless office for me is that we get rid of clutter. We get rid of all of those things that are on our desks. We get rid of all of the paper that comes in, because so much of the paper that we have is out of date as soon as we get it, especially in relation to college pamphlets. So what we're trying to do today is talk more about not so much the college pamphlets and that type of thing, because we know that the college websites are fine. I don't need to have more bits of paper from colleges. Just point me in the right direction to their pamphlets. But what we're trying to do today is give you, and we're going to be racing today, don't worry about taking any notes, there's a whole lot of information. We've divided our links and online resources that we use into 3 different areas, because at my school what we're trying to do is make the process of college applications easier. I don't know about you guys, but at my school, at the Ambani School, we have pretty stressed parents who are all stressing over, trying to get into the high-end universities or highly ranked universities, but they think that one size fits all and one style of application fits all. But what we're trying to do is slow it down, break it up into 3 important components, and then go from there. So we have choosing, preparing, submitting. They're the 3 key words that we use all the time. Choosing, preparing, submitting. And so what we're looking at today through our presentation is what are some resources that we use for the choosing aspects in relation to career exploration, college exploration, what sort of possibilities there are, but also those great psychometric tests that people seem to like and put a whole lot of weight on, and we'll get back to them. We'll talk more about them as we get there. So, resources for choosing, We're also looking at resources for the preparation side of preparing yourself for whichever colleges you're going to, and then the resources we use for submitting the documentation. So, let's get into the... we've also got some other resources that we'll throw in there as well. These are like some miscellaneous stuff that you may or may not need to use. Remember, you don't need to take photographs of all of this. You can if you want to, but you can just get this whole thing sent to you. Now, you will see a lot of stuff here, and we're not going to go through each one of these links. But if you have a look up here, career exploration, we start at our school in grade 9 and 10 and on focusing upon career exploration. One of the things that we find is that Indian parents have this tendency to want their child to know where they're heading by grade 9, and then they get on their pathway to wherever they're heading at grade 9, and they've made their choice that they're going to be in finance, and then they try to make their plan for university at grade 9, and you work along this narrow path. What we're trying to do is change that a little bit and say to students and their parents, relax. You've got plenty of time to make these choices. And if you're heading to the States, you've got another couple of years before your son or daughter even has to make their major, decide upon their major. So we want to spend a lot of time looking at what are possible careers? What are some broad stroke ideas about career possibilities? And here are some different resources that you can use. And if you have a look at the top one up there, Road Trip Nation. Road Trip Nation is one that we push a whole lot because there's about 3,500, we were just talking before, cathedrals having a career day on Friday, and Sadashna's trying to make sure that she actually gets back to Mumbai in the next couple of days for her big career day. But Road Trip Nation is like an online career day where you have 3,500 short interviews of people in all sorts of careers. Yes, it has a bit of an American slant to it, but the idea, whether it's American or whether it's UK or whatever else, there's a whole lot that your students can explore through places like Road Trip Nation, Careers Box, and iCould.com. They're only just some of them. And so at our school, we don't have a career fair. We've moved away from that, and we're pushing the idea that students can have a look at these things, which are these websites that are organized into different themes, so that they can explore the possibilities that are out there. Sadashna's going to drop in at any time while I'm going through all of these, but we're going to be racing, because I don't want this young lady up the back there to be putting up the little flag that says stop, and so we're racing very quickly. Now, one of the things that at our school, we've got the big focus at our school is STEM. And what we really try to push is women in STEM as well. There's a lot of girls who at our school have the grades, but they're still nervous about the idea of going into STEM-related areas. And so without me having a bias towards women in STEM, I'm just saying that we have a lot of websites that we promote to our students about exploring the possibility of women in STEM. And these are just some of them. Now, I talked very briefly before about personality tests, and I'm going to come from an Australian perspective. In Australia, personality tests are used, I don't want to say flippantly, but they're not taken as seriously as what happens here. And I don't know whether it's like what it's like in Delhi or other parts of Greater Noida or the Hyderabad or these places. I don't know what it's like there, but with our students, they go to somebody in about grade 9, they do some personality test in grade 9, they've done their psychometric test, and that determines what they're going to be doing for university. We're saying, no, use personality tests, and there's tons of them that are available to you, to explore possibilities, to get an idea about what's out there. Today in grade 9, you might do a personality test or an interest inventory and gain this idea, my gosh, I want to be a veterinary scientist. But Next year, when you do that same inventory again, or a different one, you may find out that I'm now starting to be interested in these areas. And the focus we're trying to put on these is maybe by doing these interest inventories, you're going to be able to see some things that you weren't thinking about before, rather than determining that I want to do economics in grade 9 and then plodding along the I'm nothing wrong with economics. I'm plodding along that path if that's what you want to do. But maybe by doing some more of these and taking them, I don't want to say with a grain of salt, but taking them with the intent that they're not setting your life in stone, that you are just getting ideas about where it is that you could possibly head, and some other things that you may not have thought about. If you can do that, well then maybe your ideas about college and where you should be heading and the types of courses and programs that are available to you may broaden.
And I'm just going to pitch in with an example. So we had a student who was a pure humanities ISC student in grade 12. Pure humanities means social, psycho, eco, English, math. And she did biology just because she liked biology and didn't enjoy math and physics. So she did that as an additional subject. Back in those days, you were allowed to take 6 ISC subjects. Went on to a liberal arts college, a largest liberal arts college in the US. Got a double major in biology, psychology. Had she done the psychometric tests and followed that, she would not have done a biology major, for sure. She would just have ended up with psychology. Nothing wrong with that. But then she went on to work at the MD Anderson Cancer Center and pursued medicine. Today she's a doctor. Now that's a complete turnaround from a pure humanities. That's why I completely agree with Barry that, if children are starting younger and younger, and I think it's parents to blame to an extent, to say that unless we do a psychometric test, we won't know which subject to choose, and therefore it's going to impact our long-term. Just choose a broad range of subjects which are not going to impact your long-term decisions. But you're limited to such few subjects in the lower classes in the high school years that you're not going to know what you really like till you explore those subjects. So please don't get roped into this commercial business out there which is talking about psychometric tests and you must do them and they're mandatory. If you don't do them, you're doomed. You're not.
So what we're trying to say is there's lots of options available at some centre. There is so much that's available online for test prep if that's the route you want to go. And I'm going to push the top one. Khan Academy, I don't know why anybody goes anywhere else apart from Khan Academy, except for other places, maybe to augment Khan Academy. But I'm such an advocate for Khan Academy, not just in test prep. And I don't know whether there's any Khan Academy people here, but I'm hoping they're going to give me a commission or something. But Khan Academy is great for so many things apart from just test prep. And if your sons and daughters, if your students haven't really got into the Khan Academy way of life, they should really start utilising Khan Academy. But in amongst all of that, there's all sorts of other ones, and know that there's a whole lot of test prep that's like if you're doing SAT, for goodness sakes, the first place that kids should be going is to College Board. And they should be looking at College Board. They should be looking at the ACT site because there's so much there. And we don't even have YouTube on our list here. And YouTube is so good for so many things. And I know that the US... Thank you. Education USA has all sorts of wonderful stuff on your YouTube stuff. Yeah, very good. Okay.
I'm going to second Barry with the Khan Academy. It not only has test prep material, but even AP test material. So if there's any student preparing for AP, they have full tutorials for AP, for high school math, for tons of other support for students who want to understand concepts.
For AP is Coursera. Coursera's got some AP courses. There are also some apps which are not downloadable.
Coursera is great too for extension. If you want to do all sorts of extension, Coursera. I'm always, kids will say, "Oh, well, should I do this program over? Should I go and do this over this?" Well, maybe have you checked out Coursera before flying over to the university in America for the summer? Maybe.
So taking this Coursera forward, actually make it almost mandatory for my students to do this Coursera course which says US Admissions Process Demystification. Is run by Dean Eric Furra of UPenn, and it's a 6-week course, very, very comprehensive. In fact, I've downloaded and recorded it for some of the lazy ones who don't have the time to finish it within the stipulated period of time, and we have tutorials that we share with the students. So I think it's a great resource even for all of you here to tap into. It's free, you don't have to pay anything unless you want to get a certificate, and really you don't need to get a certificate for something as basic as that. But it takes you down through the fundamentals of every part of the US application.
Okay. Also, online, if any of you students are applying to Oxford or Cambridge, there's a ton of stuff for preparing them for the Oxbridge Interviews, which is the scary, one of the big scary parts for the Oxbridge application. There's a ton of that, and again, on their website, they have so much stuff. So kids don't have to be going outside, they can just be going to these places to get access to excellent resources for the interviews. And also, one of the things that we push is students should have an electronic resume, and we're telling our kids to have an electronic resume all the way through from grade 9, 10, 11 and 12. We also push the ZME, and I don't know whether there's any ZME people here because I'm sure that's a platform maybe I can get some commission from. The ZME people have got a great platform for kids to build their online profile, sort of like a Facebook account, but it's not really. It's a very fine, easy program that they can put in videos, they can put in documents, they can do all sorts of things to have a very good online portfolio that they can send to universities when the application season comes in, if the universities accept some sort of extra portfolio that they need. But the ZME account or zme.com, excellent, and I would really recommend it. This morning we were talking to, we were listening, and they were talking about some resources in one particular program for essays, but there's lots and lots and lots of essay help. It's funny, this year now that the Common App for the US essays, or the Common App essays, with the question that says you can make up your own, the last one now, it's like, I don't really know what there's no reason why kids can't write about anything now. You don't even have to, there's prompts that just say whatever, write whatever you want. Even if you pick a piece of writing that you've done before, fix that one up. And so, but there's lots and lots of essay help for admissions in the USA. But one of the things that we find is the UCAS personal statement is very, very different to the Common App essay. And kids find that difficult. One's personal, one's just sort of like writing and trying to get my feeling, or the sense of who I am as a person out there. The other one's much more specific about where I'm heading, what have I done, how did I prepare for this particular course. And if you have a look here, there's some great ones. There's some great examples for kids to be able to get a sense of what a personal statement should look like. If you, I went back one. To this first one, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of personal statements with critiques and whether they were successful or not successful, and kids can have a look at those as a starting point. But again, get onto the UCAS website, because the UCAS website is again excellent, giving a lot of information for how to go about doing that. Profiles, transcripts, recommendations. Oh, hang on, we've skipped preparing. We're now into submitting. For us at our school, we use Naviance for the submission of our documents. Other people might use whatever platform that they have at their school, but we use Naviance. At your school, you don't use Naviance.
We use the Common App at our school. And so yeah, all these documents are submitted through the Common App. Common App this year has tons of resources for, I'm sure everyone here who's logged into Common App know, there's even a virtual counselor, which the student can log in and get some advice on. Coalition also this year, in fact I just got the email yesterday, has a mentor, so they can send their college list, even if it's not a coalition college on the list of coalition college applications. You can seek advice from a mentor to identify whether it meets with your personality or your needs or your requirements or your major or etc. So all of these websites, and Common App also has a requirements grid, which is a kind of a summary which tells you which college requires ACT with writing, SAT subject tests, TOEFL, IELTS, early decision, rolling, regular, REA, etc., etc. So it's a very, very comprehensive, exhaustive requirements grid. Lot of support there for students as well.
They've really done some good upgrading of the Common App website. And I think tomorrow we have a session. I think Clay Hensley is presenting tomorrow. Somebody like this?
It's on College Board.
There is a session tomorrow about the Common App and the new things, yeah. Okay. So that might be worth looking into as well. All right.
One other thing I remembered about the Common App. There's also the submission of extra credentials through SlideRoom. That you saw that up on the previous. So any additional information, whether it's a research paper, portfolio, art portfolio, drama, dance, video of a particular sport, any of that, additional credentials can be submitted through, for certain colleges it's through credentials.com, and for through the Common App it's through SlideRoom.
Okay, so now we're getting to the Education USA slide. Just making sure that that they're covered there, because we are great advocates for the work done by the Education USA. And I think we can move on to some other useful information that you'd like to throw in here, Sudarshana.
I think we've already covered the Coursera additional lifelong learning, additional for students who need to be challenged further, and they're gifted. They need to be need to explore more possibilities. These are great websites for extra learning. Even for us, I think there are so many things that we can update ourselves on. So these are really great platforms. I've probably done about 12 to 13 courses every year on one of the other of these platforms. The reason being it's self-paced, so you're not worried.
If you've got time to do 12 or 13 courses, you obviously don't have enough kids in your school.
I have a lot of free time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But also, these ones are more to do with kids who we're wanting to extend at the higher end. But there's also websites that we've got for students with differing abilities.
So here I feel it's extremely important that students with special needs do not hide, or the counselors do not hide that the child has a specific learning disability, and declares it in the application, because there is tons of support available for them to whichever college they go to. There's technology support, there's note support, there's note taking, there are videographed lectures that are provided to them. They get additional time, they get special rooms in which they can sit in if they're distracted easily. So it's best not to hide, and I can promise you that there is not a single college in the US which holds a bias against a student with a different ability, not even the Ivy Leagues. So we've had students with special needs being admitted to Ivy Leagues and succeeding really well because of all the kind of support. So they don't give you any concessions in marks, but they give you all the support the child needs, as does SAT and ACT. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. ACT in fact goes a step further when the student can take a test anytime during the month over a 50% extended period of time. So I think the students, instead of shying away, should be able to advocate clearly on their own, be their own ambassadors, and because they're not going to be parents or counselors there to talk about their disabilities, but they need to be empowered to talk about their disability to the offices that are in charge of special needs students in the US colleges or UK or Australia, because they are not going to hold that against the child, whether they are admitting them or helping them later on. So please, I feel this question comes up now and again, that should we tell or should we not tell? Of course you should tell the truth, because you want the best for the child.
Okay, we've also got helpful iPhone and iPad apps. So if students want to look at some apps that may be of use to them, There are some extra iPad and iPhone apps there, especially with regards to Studious and all college essays, both useful college apps. But also, forget about kids for a moment, we've got some extra information here for parents. And so, Sudarshana, you want to talk about some of these that you've included?
Sure. I think it's always helpful to keep our parents busy, and that keeps them away from interfering with the students a lot. So in fact, I have all my parents open a common app as a parent, not as a student, so that they know what the student goes through and they butt out of interfering with the student's application. I think it's also important because as an adult, they see things differently, and there may be certain things in the application which the student needs to put in a particular way, because, and they miss that out. So it's always lovely to corroborate what the parent has filled and what the student has filled, and then without really helicopter managing it, being able to take the best out of what the parent feels, because nobody knows the child better than the parent. So I feel if you give them work to do, they're very happy. They think they're doing their job, and they are. They're not only thinking that they're doing the job, they really are. So I feel it's important for the parents, because most of our students, I don't know about your schools, but most of our students think they know better than anybody else in the world, and so they don't involve their parents, and the parents are very, very worried. So they come to me saying, I have no idea what my child is doing. Can you please tell me what's supposed to be happening? I said, your child knows the process and they're doing it, because we see it on the Common App. I don't know how many of you know now, because the Common App also has an advisee component. Well, they're going to talk about it tomorrow, so I'm not going to talk about Common App anymore. But there are lots of things that students don't tell their parents, but they do tell their peers and their counselors. So it's very important that the parents get involved and they know what the students are experiencing. So these are some of the platforms they can do that at.
Now, I am going to do a blatant plug here for a platform that our school uses to keep all this together. We've given you, I think, 32 slides of information here, and that's a ton of links. And what we've tried to do at our school, we use Naviance, Family Connection, as our platform for organizing all of this. We have a whole lot of links that are on on every student's homepage. We have a document library that we can put in anything, any of the documents, we can list them in the document library. A lot of those different places, things like Sally Mae, things like College Supermatch, they're already part of the Naviance program. The Indian Schools database is part of Naviance. A lot of the links that you can get without having Naviance are already part of the Naviance platform. And so for us, the choosing, the preparing, and the submitting, we keep all of those things that we've got in here, plus more, in that one platform. That makes it easier for us. We've had Naviance at our school for, I think, close to but we've got data all the way back from the start of the year in Family Connection, which for us allows our students a great resource for being able to compare the success rate of our students. So if they're applying to, if they've got a score of, let's say 38 in the IB and they're applying to Yale, and they can see how many students from the Ambani School in the last 15 years have applied to Yale, how many were successful in getting into Yale, and what sort of score, what was the average score of the student who was successful getting into Yale. All of that that data from those previous years' data is accessible to students and parents. And for us, I would say, and Nitika would probably back me up here, that the Compare Me feature of previous years' data is probably the most widely used discussion point when we're having meetings with parents, when students are looking at their lists, when they're trying to work out what's the percentage probability of me being able to have a successful application. So this very brief last slide is my blatant plug to the Hobson's people who are actually standing down the back there, and I hope they're going to buy me a bottle of wine or something for plugging their product. But for us, we use Naviance to keep all of these things, and you can see all the things that we keep in one place using that particular platform. So thank you guys for having a platform that works for us. We've got 10 minutes to go. Now, we've raced ahead. You can see up here our email addresses. And so if you want to take down our email addresses and then just write to us and say, hey, can you send us this slide presentation so that we can copy and paste rather than try to work out whether you've put a dash or a dot or a underline or something rather. You can just copy and paste these straight into your browser, and I'm going to apologize now if any of them don't work. Okay, all the ones that I've gone through and I've checked them, but I'm just hoping that everything was right. But we have looked at it numerous times, and I'm not going to say that it's perfect.
Just to make one correction, the test prep, some of the sites are paid for. So
the test prep one. Test Rocker, I think I noticed up there is a paid one as well. Any questions? Anybody got anything to add? You, sir, first, and then you, and then you. Yes.
Students for doing all those activities. What grade do you start?
9. At our school, we start at grade 9. But without me being the salesperson for Naviance, you can have Naviance starting in elementary school. It'll depend on how you set it up, and it's really just clicks of buttons and opening access. So it depends on at your school of whether it's who has access at what grade and what do you want them to have access for. But that's easy for you to. That's a click of a button and opening up access. But remember, Naviance, there's a cost involved. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to buy me that bottle of wine that I need to have. All right? Yes, sir.
I'd like to appreciate first of all the extensive research that has been done, and at least I feel enlightened. We have been using.
Do you want to speak on that so you can speak much louder about that?
I know. I really feel enlightened. We have been into career counseling for quite some time now, and we have been using Naviance from last 2 years. But I don't think we have even used 2% of that. What I got to hear in this session.
Where are you from?
I'm from Hyderabad, DRS International School.
I've never been to Hyderabad, and if you need somebody to come for a visit.
Well, I have a question actually. To understand more, how does this career counseling and guidance counseling department functions in your school, and what is the department work like, and what is the frequency in which you meet students, and how it functions basically? I want to understand more about that. Yeah, thank you.
So at our school, we try to meet with we have set meetings with grade 12. For first semester of grade 12, we're meeting with them once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks as a big group, okay? And we have specific sessions in this first busy period. Grade 11s, we meet a couple of times in this first semester, but we start working with our grade 11s in second semester, okay? And we try to meet with them maybe 4 or 5 times in that semester. When it comes to grade 10s and 9s, we work with them probably twice a term. So that's probably 6 to 8 times a year we would meet with them. But that's face-to-face big whole group meetings. In addition to that, I write to the students every week, okay? To the students, and I have in brackets and parents. The tone of my email is to the students, but it's also keeping the parents informed of what I'm saying. And we're telling the kids during my emails what you have to do this week, what do you have to do this month, where are we heading, so that parents have an idea of what the journey is. And they can see, because I write one email that has grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 on it. So if you're a grade 9 parent, you can read and see what the other people are doing, so that you have what I'm trying to do is, just by osmosis, the parents have an understanding of the journey, and they see that it's not, if you just follow the steps that we're trying to put through, they're going to get there. When it comes to meeting with our students, when it comes to meeting with the students and parents, that's entirely up to the students and the parents. And I'm talking more, we have grade 10s coming talking to us about subject selection. We have grade 11s talking to us about where they're heading. The grade 12s, some of them decide they don't want to talk to us because they're going to outside consultants or they're going to paid consultants, and they're getting their advice there. They make appointments with us through our office manager, and we meet with them. We don't have a definitive, you must all come and meet with us. We don't say that. We say we are here as a resource. And the point I'm trying to make with all of this is we really push empowering students to have the tools to do this journey, not by themselves, but to be the leader of this journey, because we believe that it's not our role to tell them where to go to. It's not our role to tell them. At our school, our average IB score is 40. If you can't fill in a form with an IB score of 40, we have a problem. If you can't work out the colleges that you want to go through with all of the tools that you've got available to you, we're not doing our job. We are there as facilitators of the journey, giving them the empowerment to lead the journey by giving them these tools. And we use things from Family Connection as ways that they're in control of their journey. Do you want to add anything to what I just said there?
I want to add.
Yes, please.
So these are the one-on-one meetings that Van is talking about, which we have with the families. A lot of the students along the journey decide to come on their own without their parents. We also have only parent forums, about 2 to 3 times in the year for any grade, and Barry's being pretty modest about his weekly emails, which actually don't only give information, but he starts with a little story about his experiences in India, which actually give the students an idea of how to write their common application essay.
Yeah, okay. Over here, you had a question, ma'am. Did we answer your question? Was that okay? All right, ma'am.
I'd like to thank both of you for this wonderful presentation. And my question is, you had mentioned, Barry, that all of these resources are available in a list for your students within Navient. Is there a website or is there a web page or something you have that's publicly accessible where the rest of us can...
No way.
We're all kind of reinventing the wheel when we're putting together our own list of resources for our students.
I know exactly what you're saying. I don't have a place like that because and only because we plug them into Family Connection as our holding place. And it's like, okay, if you want test prep, go to the links on the first page. Okay, if you want this, if you want other access, go to the document library under this folder. And so you are exactly right. And unfortunately, I don't have a website that you can go to unless I give you a fake account and you come into our school. And but we're like, as a school, well, as a department, I won't say as a school, as a department, we're happy to share, and that's why we're sort of saying, hey, look, this is the stuff that we use, and we're very happy to give you, if you need anything, please just contact us and let us see if we can help you in any way possible. Yeah.
Would it be possible, for example, for you to set up a mailing list rather than for all of us to be emailing you? Perhaps you could set up a mailing list and those of us who are interested could sign on.
You
And
can
then
put...
Sure, then every time you have an update, on kind of set it up.
Oh, is this more work for me? Actually, maybe we could get Sudarshana to do it, because she's doing all those courses. She could drop a course and just do one and do this mailing list.
Yes, here's what I do with my students to share this resource. We have a handbook, which is a soft copy, which I email to them and I update that every year. So I'm happy to send you that update annually, but not ongoing. Yeah. So yeah. So you can just leave email.
Yep. Say that again, sorry?
You suggested that to put the names or email IDs so that we could mail this presentation. I think a lot of audience was not there when you made that
Okay, I'm just saying that if you just put your name, please make sure that you write it carefully, and I'll just send this out to you guys down the back there.
Our school uses the Nanyans as well, but
Just looking down the back there. She's not getting the bottle of wine, okay? Yeah.
I just want to understand how in the grade 9s we use the psychometrics. We assign a couple of assessments that we do, and every year we do a couple of them. I just wanted to understand
Same thing.
how you do it with the grade 9s apart from getting them to.
One of the things, and I've got to be really honest with you here, what we say we do and what we're trying to do and whether we're successful is two different things. Our issue at the moment is grade 9s we don't have a laptop policy for grade 9s. And so for us to then get them into the lab is a pain in the neck. And then we have to, and so so a lot of that we're telling them to do by themselves. Our grade 10s, they can bring a laptop, but they don't have access to the internet. And so it's like, yeah, but it's the same sort of thing. We're saying, okay, in grade 9, we want you to do these things. We want you to explore the careers. That's what we're looking at. In grade 10, these are the things. And we open up access to these ones for grade 9, these ones plus these ones for grade 10, these ones plus these ones for grade 11. But again, my emails, quite a lot of what I'm doing is on their own. You know, because we're not teaching every week. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, and I think that's a challenge for all of us, because quite often, you know, we're seeing the value in it, but not all the kids see the value in it. And so, you know, we have to resort to the age-old humiliation tactics of saying, hey, if you don't have these things done, we're going to put your name list up on the board. I'm sure we all do the same sort of thing. And and the first time I do it, you know, I have it in great big A3 sheets. The next time we have a whole lot less kids because they're all panicking because they don't want to have their name on the sheet.
And one more thing, the Nanyans doesn't assess aptitude. How do you kind of fill it that? Yeah, it does the personality, it does the motivation, but aptitude is not something it gives you a clear picture.
For us, the amount of information that our kids have from their grade 10 results, from the PSAT results that go in, from their predicted grades, from their courses, because we put all their stuff in there, you know, that information plus the different intelligent tests and all of those things, we believe gives the kids enough information and to move forward, to make some judgments about broad stroke possibilities. Are we suggesting that it's perfect? No, but we don't believe that they need to be perfect. They don't need to know exactly what's happening, because they might be making their decision in grade 12, you know, just before the application season. And I'd just like to, one of the things that I think I don't know whether I've spoken to you guys before, but last year we trialed 3 deadlines. We got rid of university deadlines, and we actually have 4. We have the Oxbridge deadline, we have an early deadline, and then we have a regular deadline. That's it. And all of our applications are done by the 16th of December. Even if they're due in January the 1st, everything has to be done and sent by the time that, once the ED results come out, they're done. And for us as a school, those 3 deadlines have made life so much easier. Yeah, so it's a Oxbridge, ED, and then regular, and we don't worry about anything else. Except for Indian universities, we worry about that after. But our kids also only have 12 applications globally, and the UC campuses are individual applications. So that's made a difference. Any last question? I'd like to say thank you very much for being my co-presenter today. And thank you very much. And please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us if you need. We're a group, we're a team, we're a family, and we've all got different clients. So we're not competing against each other. We're wanting kids to be successful, and if we can help each other out, it's great. And if you need someone to come and visit to Hyderabad or some other nice place, please make sure you keep my name on your list. All right? Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Could you return the feedback form to the person who's standing?
It's here.
Sorry?
I've already sent it over.
Fantastic. Thank you.
It was really nice.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thank you. Nice.
Thank you, son. Thanks, buddy. My pleasure.
You're with Dhirubhai Ambani Crush. I was the co-curricular school in
Cool.
Thank you.
No problem.
We are one family.
Yeah, we are definitely.
So now you're going to come to our center and present for us.
No problem, anytime. Love to. We're big advocates for it. Yeah, we're big advocates for you guys. Yeah. Same as when I was in Zimbabwe. When I worked in Zimbabwe, that's the same there. A lot of work.
Keep in touch with us. I'm always on meet at office. I'm based in the Delhi office.
Oh, okay, you're the Delhi. Where did you speak?
Jaipur. We were together.